Today, we're taking a train ride.
Join us as we take a spectacular fall road trip from New York to White Mountain in New Hampshire. Along the way, we stop in the small town of Gems to visit the historic Erie Canal. Then we take a breathtaking rail journey through Mount Washington Valley over the rugged Crawford Notch. We rode in a 1950s-era streamlined passenger car. The amazing weather and gorgeous colors of fall delivered some of the best views I've ever seen.
Hey Trippers, this is Trippin Traci. Today's trip brings us to the North Conway Scenic Railway.
We had magnificent weather for our road trip from Niagara Falls to White Mountain in New Hampshire. You'll find a link to my Niagara Falls video above or in the description below.
We decided to stop off at the little town of Gems, right next to the Erie Canal.
Gems is a convenient stop for regional information and Erie Canal cruising.
Your vines in your sun. You stand on this side.
I think we can get down to the water.
You can book a 1 to 2 hour canal cruise, shop at one of the 60 shops, and enjoy dinner at a waterfront restaurant. Our drive took us through many quaint little towns. I had visited New York City a few times in the past, but never upstate New York, and this was my very first visit to Vermont and New Hampshire.
Made it to Vermont!
It's almost impossible to describe how glorious the views were during our trip. The trip from Niagara Falls to the top of White Mountain is approximately 550 miles. After Harv and I spent 2 nights cramped in my tiny van, we decided to get a hotel room for the night, and we hit the road early the next morning, heading for White Mountain. We were blessed with a truly incredible sunset on our way up the mountain. The White Mountains are a mountain range covering about a quarter of the state of New Hampshire and a small portion of western Maine. They're part of the Appalachian Mountains and the most rugged mountains in New England. In addition to mountain train rides, this region offers several ski areas. Many of the ski areas host warm weather activities like gondola rides, biking, climbing walls, horseback riding, and golf in the warm weather seasons. Unfortunately, nighttime arrived along with fog on our way up the mountain, and it was a white-knuckle drive. I was thrilled to arrive at the hotel. Our train departed at 11:30, so we left the hotel at 10:30 in order to arrive in time for filming and photography, and also to check in. I love trains, and I've taken many scenic train tours in the past. This was by far the best.
This is the North Conway Scenic Railroad. And we're way up high and the weather is gorgeous.
Conway Scenic Railroad provides an old-fashioned railroading experience with all trains departing from an 1874 train station. They offer a number of excursions, and we selected the Mountaineer. The Mountaineer consists of a 1950s-era streamlined passenger car.
First class. The caboose. All right, Harv, you need to pay special attention to this sign.
Their iconic Russian Revival-style station was built in 1874. It last served as a common carrier passenger station for the Boston and Maine Railroad in 1961. Since 1974, it has been the headquarters and base of operations for the Conway Scenic Railroad.
This is a 54-mile journey.
This ride offers a supremely scenic 4 to 5.5 hour rail journey through Mount Washington Valley and over rugged Crawford Notch.
We're now entering the Whitaker Woods, town of Conway Conservation and Recreation Area. Here you can hike, bike, walk, and enjoy nature.
Their meal options include boxed lunches and also hot meals. We opted for the smoked ham and Swiss on hearty bread, and it was delicious.
You're gonna have what?
Box lunch.
Crawford Notch State Park has 5,775 acres, providing access to numerous hiking trails, waterfalls, fishing, wildlife viewing, and spectacular mountain views. In 1771, a Lancaster hunter named Timothy Nash discovered what is now called Crawford Notch while tracking a moose over Cherry Mountain. Packed with provisions, he worked his way through the notch and on to Portsmouth to tell the governor of his discovery. Doubtful the road could be built through the mountains, the governor made him a deal. If Nash could get a horse through from Lancaster, he would grant him a large parcel of land at the head of the notch, with a condition that he build a road to it from the east. Nash and his friend Benjamin Sawyer managed to trek through the notch with a very mellow farm horse that at times had to be lowered over boulders with ropes. The deal with the governor was kept, and the road, at first not much more than a trail, was opened in 1775.
Wow.
Yeah. The logging railroad. Now, off to the left side, you get to see the Frankenstein cliffs. Now, these cliffs were not named for the movie monster. They were named for Gottfried Frankenstein, who was a landscape painter. Those vertical marks in the rocks. There are several of them still. Those vertical half-round marks from the rock drills. Those rock drills were done by a two-man team. One man held the drill, the other man hit it. And after each hit, the man holding the drill would turn it a quarter turn and slowly cut their way down through the stone. Rock ledge on both sides of the track. You notice how close those ledges are to the track. That was because they didn't want to have to do any more work than absolutely necessary. Because it was all being done by hand.
Increasing tourism from the White Mountains generated interest in building a railroad through Crawford Notch. The construction of the railroad, built by Anderson Brothers of Maine, was opened in 1875. During the fall of 1825, Samuel Willie Jr. of Bartlett moved into a small house in the heart of Crawford Notch with his wife, 5 children, and 2 hired men. The family operated an inn to accommodate travelers through the mountains on the desolate Notch Road. The little cluster of buildings was situated in the shadow of what is now called Mount Willie. During the night of August 28, 1826, after a long drought which had dried the mountain soil to an unusual depth, came one of the most violent and destructive rainstorms ever known in the White Mountains. Livestock was carried off, farms set afloat, and great gorges were cut in the mountains. The house had escaped damage, but it was apparently situated just below the ledge that divided the major slide into 2 streams. The split caused the slide to pass the house on both sides, leaving it untouched. Mr. and Mrs. Willie, 2 children, and both hired men were found nearby, crushed in the wreckage of the slide. 3 children were never found. Following the tragedy, an addition was built onto the house, which was operated as an inn until it burned in 1898. The state government later bought the Willies' property and managed it within the New Hampshire State Park Service, which preserves the property and the Willies' legacy to this day. Tourists still flock to the site and nearby Dry River Campground for its stunning views and fascinating history.
Wish you safe travels on your drive home or wherever your Mount Washington Valley adventures take you.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit that pause button, like the video, and subscribe to my channel. My next video brings us to the coast of Maine, where we visit a lighthouse and I enjoy a lobster roll for the very first time. And with that, I bid you adieu and to stay trippy.
Harv's filming me right now, and he said that an orb just floated out of my mouth and up into the sky. So I guess I'm possessed by a ghost. Or no, it was released. It was released. The demon has been released.
I hope I don't smell it.
Harv just went outside, so I wanted to tell you something really quick. I was coming back from the bathroom, And Harv was asking somebody that worked here if we were going to be able to switch sides or something. I don't know what he was asking, but anyway, it was perfect timing because he turned around and didn't see me. So I was right behind him when I walked up. So after he left, I grabbed his butt twice. He grabbed it. He didn't do anything. I grabbed it again. And he turned around with the meanest look on his face, like,